Please join me in welcoming Chris Jones.
Thanks, Sharon. And I'd also like to start off this morning by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we meet and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. And also just to acknowledge people with the lived experience of mental illness and their carers as well, and particularly in regards to people that are still on the pathway to getting support for youth severe mental illness. And also just a thanks to everyone for being so giving of their time to come along today. We know that it takes an enormous amount of effort for people to arrange their time to dedicate a full day to sharing this with us today. So Sharon kind of touched on the beginning, but we're really interested to know people's motivations for actually coming along. So we know that many of you are providers working in the area of youth severe and hoping for more support for the clients that you see every day. But perhaps you are a person with lived experience who has a hope that the system out there maybe just might get a little bit easier to navigate if some of the services do align and work more closely together. Or perhaps you're just intrigued by the concept that a whole day has been put together and dedicated to exploring the youth severe space, something which in this area has rarely been done before. And perhaps it's actually a little bit of all three of those reasons. But it does actually highlight the fact that severe mental illness in young people is often an unexplored, under-resourced area that doesn't have a recognisable profile. So one of our key aims today is to make sure that we have the beginnings of ensuring that there is a recognisable profile in this region. And as Amy said, we really do have a hope that young people start receiving supports that are tailored to their needs and which can ultimately meet the needs of those young people. So our goal at the Southwestern Sydney PHN in everything we do is to highlight that there are building blocks out there towards achieving a better approach in this region, and you'll hear about many of those services today and find out more about our commissioning approach. So from a PHN perspective, we recognise that often early intervention and observing the emerging signs of mental illness and particularly mental health crisis are important, which is why we've ensured that there's the availability of programs like mental health first aid across the region, and to date we've worked with over 30 diverse organisations and over 300 staff members in ensuring that people are trained in picking up the early warning signs of emerging crisis and putting people on the pathway to support. More recently, through our funding to Lifeline Macarthur, they've also launched an approach that now reaches into universities, making sure that young people at a crucial point in their lives, particularly in tackling things like study, employment, and just changing expectations of what society places on them, are often given the support that they need. Additionally, we've ensured that vulnerable young people from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds have access to team mental health first aid. We wanted to ensure that young people that have, I guess, extra levels of vulnerability in regards to seeking support, and particularly in picking up on some of the signs for their peers, was supported. So we're doing that through an innovative partnership with Mental Health First Aid Australia. We also acknowledge the significant effect of comorbid drug and alcohol mental health as a potential predictor of complex mental health issues, and are pleased to be working with the Salvation Army and all 3 local Headspace centres on the Head First program, an innovative, contemporary and evidence-based service that offers an integrated support approach for comorbid mental health and drug and alcohol problems. Through our credentialed mental health nursing services, we've again partnered with local Headspace services to ensure that mental health nurses can work with the young people at risk of early psychosis, and through appropriate tailored clinical care coordination can help to further prevent the development of the mental health issues and become a vital ingredient in their recovery approach. Through newly commissioned services such as the exciting Connect for Wellness peer-based psychological therapy program, this can be offered to young people experiencing complex and enduring mental health issues in a supportive and encouraging way that also features individual and group approaches. Aside from the aforementioned services, we have aimed to support GPs recently through a series of youth-friendly general practice sessions. We've also begun to explore, in conjunction with the South Western Sydney Local Health District, the needs of young people with eating disorders, and are also in the early stages of scoping the need for psychiatric support services, which will hopefully include increased access to youth psychiatry support. In mentioning these services, which have been made available over the past 12 months, we are the first ones to say that we don't hold all of the answers. But we are actively listening, researching, and helping to scope the needs across the region through methods such as regional co-design, and we're excited about the prospect of working with many of you here today on some of the next steps for youth severe services in the region in the coming years. Youth severe mental illness is challenging for consumers that live with it every day, the families who support them and provide care, and the services that aim to assist. But I'm confident that this region can collaborate, integrate, and initiate new approaches that will continue to make a lasting difference. Thank you.